Today we're going to be making costillas and salsa verde, which translates to ribs in green salsa. I'm also serving them with some creamy Peruvian beans, which you can find the recipe on my site. And this is just a comforting, hearty Mexican meal. So let's get started. So I am using these baby back ribs for the costillas. You can also do some country style ribs if you want a little bit more meat, since those don't have a bone. But I'm just using a cast iron skillet. I didn't put any oil, any seasoning on the ribs, and I'm just going to cook them down until they get nice and crispy. So this process does take about 30 to 40 minutes, so just be patient. So while the ribs are cooking, I'm going to prepare my tomatillos. I'm using about 2 pounds. This is just to show you how to rinse and clean the tomatillos. I put a little bit of vinegar to remove the wax, and then I place all the tomatillos into a pot with water. There's no seasoning, just bring it to a boil and simmer it for 5 minutes until they turn kind of a yellow color and they're nice and soft. So I'm going back to the ribs. You do want to kind of rotate them every now and then, just so that way they can get cooked on both sides. The heat is at about medium, and I'm just going to keep cooking them until they get nice and crispy. So you can see here the ribs are starting to develop some color. I'm just kind of scraping the bottom of the pan to release some of those bits. But once we add the salsa, you'll get most of that off. I am going to season the ribs with a little bit of black pepper. Remember, there's no salt or anything else, so just add a little bit of black pepper to the ribs and just keep cooking them down until they all get nice and brown on each side. The tomatillos are done boiling, and I allowed them to cool for a little bit, drain them, add them to a blender with a garlic clove, a little bit of cilantro, and about a teaspoon of salt. Give that a blend until it is nice and smooth. You can also add some chicken bouillon if you'd like to. So this is the color that we want on the ribs. You want them to have kind of a crust on each side and nice and tender. So now go ahead and reduce the heat to medium-low and add the salsa verde. I'm also going to add a little bit of water into the blender just to make sure I get all of the salsa out, and then kind of scrape down the bottom of the pan just to release those burnt bits from the pan, because that's all flavor, so we want to make sure we get that. Then I'm going to place the lid on and allow it to simmer in the salsa for about 15 minutes just so the ribs can absorb the sauce. So it's been 15 minutes, and you can see here that the costillas and salsa verde look absolutely delicious. They've had time to absorb the sauce. Serve them nice and warm. These are my creamy Peruvian beans. I put them in the blender so they're extra creamy. But you can also serve them with some corn tortillas, extra salsa verde, and a little bit of cilantro, and it is absolutely delicious. All right, now time for the best part. I can't wait to try these. So I will say, you know, the ribs are a little bit more difficult to eat, aka messier. You can also do country style ribs, which don't have the bone, but I mean, you can't go wrong with a messy rib. So here it goes. The salsa verde just has so much flavor, and searing the ribs until they're nice and crispy just gives it that nice crunch on the exterior. Some creamy beans. If you haven't tried Peruvian beans, definitely give them a try. They're soft and buttery. They have a more mild flavor than pinto beans, and my family just absolutely loves it. Thanks so much for watching this video for costillas and salsa verde. Be sure to check out my recipe for the Peruvian beans, and you can also serve this with some Mexican rice. And stay tuned till next time. Bye.